Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitayena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vasudevendra Yogindram Natva Gnanapradam Gurum Mumukshunam Hitarthaya Tattvabodha Vidhiyate. Om. Last time we saw this discussion. Madiyam Shariram Madiyaha Pranaha Madiyam Manascha Madiya Buddhihi Madiyam Agnanamiti Svenaiva Gnayate Tadyatha Madiyatvena Gnatam Kataka Kundala Gruhadikam Swasmad Bhinnam Tatha Panchakoshadikam Swasmad Bhinnam Madiyatvena Gnatam Atma na bhavati. Yet the essence of the sentence, such a long sentence, is that which is known as mine cannot be the self. Madiyatvena gnatam atma na bhavati. Many things we know as mine, but those things we call as mine, we never put them into category called I. And one thing. Second, like the typical example the Acharya gives is Kataka Kundaladikam Madiyatvena Gnatam. So all this bracelet, Kataka, Kundala means earring, and Grahadikam, house, etc. The bracelet, the earring, the house, etc. is known as mine. When that is known as mine, they all fall into category called mine, and that are never taken as I. So also we discussed all these Panchakosha, Panchakoshadikam Madiyatvena Gnatam Swasmad Bhinnam. All the koshas are known as mine. This whole body is known as mine, and anything we call it as mine is something other than me, is something available for objectification, is something which is seen, which is known, or which is experienced by me. All these words are used interchangeably in the Shastra in order to reveal the status of being an object, not the subject, for any vastu. Now this whole Panchakosha, Sharira, Sthula Sharira, then Prana, Mana, Buddhi, ignorance, all is known as mind. I refer to each organ of the body as mine, my hand, my legs, etc. we saw last time. So this is all Madiyatvena Gnatam. Now, when I say my house, it implies that house is an object of my knowledge, House is object of my any sense perception, and this mine also implies that I am the possessor of that particular house. And that is not I, that applies to everything. Now, one more thing is there, that now we have to address the mistake, which is at a different level. Anything which is beyond body, that which is addressed as mine, is never construed or confused as I. There is no problem of I and my confusion, or you can say self-confusion with reference to anything beyond the skin, anything beyond the body. The very inquiry, Tattvabodha prakaram vakshyamaha, becomes necessary because there is a confusion, that whenever there is a confusion, wherever there is a confusion, then the inquiry starts. So, the confusion is at physical body level and prana level and the mind level. All this level, there are two types of statements we make. This is, my health is not good, or my head is aching, etc. And at the same time, the entire assemblage of each sense organ and the limbs, I call it as I. I behave as I. So also with the prana, so also with the mind, so also with knowledge, buddhi, and so also the doer, karta, and so also with reference to bhokta, the doer and the enjoyer. The doer, the status of being doer is in buddhi, and that bhoktritvam is, you can say, anandamaya kosha, is again you can say ignorance. Of course, both are born out of ignorance. For buddhi, both is because of buddhi, but bhoktritvam itself is an anandamaya kosha. So, when I say this is my body or my mind or my digestive system or my circulation, etc., certainly they are object of my knowledge, and therefore none of them can be I. Madiyatvena gnatam atma na bhavati. Atma means I. Anything that is known as madiyatvam, that is known as mine, cannot be I, and that which is I cannot be mine. As we said, confusion is at the level of body onwards. So far the discussion was to remove the confusion, to show that the confusion where body etc. level is also not I, it is purely confusion. The discussion was to show the confusion as confusion. Since they are known as mine, cannot be I. Now look here, the process of the teaching, the process of the inquiry. Because Acharya said, the question was Atma Kaha. That's how we started. The student asked. So before revealing what is the nature of Atma, what is not Atma is talked about. In other words, what erroneously is taken as the self by mistake, that is being dismissed. What is not Atma, which is somehow taken as Atma, is negated. And that erroneous conclusion, you can say Brahma or Bhranti. The teaching is, first what is Brahma, what is error should be told, and that error should be negated. Otherwise, if it is just told, Atma is Satchidananda, one more Brahma will be there, one more error will take place. And therefore, this was negated. Avasthatraya sakshi, the shariratraya vilakshana, stula sukshma karana sharirat vitriktaha Panchakosha Titaha. That has to be negated, otherwise one more superimposition on the superimposition. The fellow takes himself to be Sthul Sharir, etc., and then somehow hears that I am Satchidananda, then takes this I, which is already Bhranti Janyam, born out of Bhranti, born out of error, non-apprehension caused misapprehension, Adhyasa. That on that Adhyasik I, on that Bhranti I, new Adhyasa is made that I am Satchidananda. So there is already a confusion, and the confusion becomes confounded confusion. So first it has to be negated what Atma is not, and that is what we call it as, in the Shastric language, the prakriya of neti, neti, neti. Vachanaihi nigamaha. Neti, neti vachanair nigama avochuhu. Shastra talks about the self by na iti statements. It is not the only that much. That second half we will see now. But the first, the teaching is of what I am not. Because that I am not is taken as I. This is called Shuddhikaran. You can say purification of I. From I, the non-I-ness is removed. How? Nothing physically. It is purely cognitively. Non-I-ness is also cognitive, and so negation of non-I-ness, removal of non-I-ness is actually negation, and the negation is in terms of cognition, understanding, and that understanding that about the self is made more clear by the statements what I am not. So the teaching is first of all to remove the Bhranti, to remove the erroneous conclusion about the self. And now, what is the nature of the self is talked about. Swarupa of the self is revealed now, and that is being revealed in the form of dialogue. The student asks, the question is, Atma tarhi kaha, what is the self? And the answer is, Satchidananda Swarupaha. The self is of the nature of Sat, Chit, Anandaha. Okay? Now they will define all these words, what is Satchidananda, and that will be discussed. Please understand, here Atma is not totally unknown. It is known as well, and we have to understand the Swarupa of the known Atma. He says, now let us look at that. What is Sat? The question is, Sat Kim? What is Sat? The answer is, Kalatrayepi Tishtati iti Sat. That which stays in all the three periods of time. Three periods of time means past, present and future. Stays means as it is, remains the same in all the three periods of time. That is called Sat. That which is, always is. Was, is, will be also is. That is called Sat. That existence which was there in the past, that existence which is there now, and the existence which is going to be there in future also, that is called Sat. There is no time in the past, in present or in future where it was not, or it will not be, or it is not now. What does this imply? That we'll see details in the later on. That what we said, and that which exists on its own. Last we discussed one more point. What is Sat? That which is on its own. That which is in a borrowed existence is not Satyam. Like even the ornament cannot be Satyam because it exists in the borrowed existence of gold. Gold exists, therefore ornament is. That is, therefore with reference to ornaments, gold is Satya, if they are golden ornaments. With reference to the wooden furniture, wood is Satya. And what is the Sat? What is that is there for the entire creation? What is the truth of the entire creation? That isness, the pure existence, is the truth of the entire creation. Everything is. And to come to this conclusion or to understand these statements, even modern physics is useful to us to some extent. They have come to a conclusion that nothing in this creation per se can be destroyed totally. It is only conversion of energy from one form to another form. That pure existence, in the physical terminology, in the terminology of physics, we can say pure existence is energy. That energy which exists in the forms of molecules and atoms and etc., protons, etc., and that is Sat. This is in the jargon of physics. Now, Shastra says, I am that. Atma is Sat. Means I, the self. Atma means I, the self, is not subject to destruction. Never was a time when it was not there. Never will be the time when it will not be there. And never is a time when it is not there. I was, I am, and I will be there forever. That means it has no Adi, it has no Anta, no beginning and no end. What is its nature in the presence? Look here. Anything that is born, it is always born at time T1, and before the time T1, that Vastu is not there. One thing. Anything that is born, it is born because of some modification, some change that it takes place in the Vastu out of which it is born. Okay? Like the pot. The pot is created out of clay, but simply clay doesn't create the pot. You need a potter, you have to pour some water in the clay, you have to needle the clay, then you have to have a dye, sort of dye thing, make a dye sort of the clay, and then dry it, and then the pot is there. So to some extent, the clay undergoes some additions in terms of water and some changes in order to create the pot. So, or you can say the curd that is created out of milk, you need to add some bacteria. Those bacteria are responsible of conversion of milk into lactobacillus bacteria, responsible for conversion of milk into the curds. Some change, some vikara is there, and there is a time when it was not there. So also, when something is dead or destroyed, certainly that particular vastu, that particular object is not available in that form anymore, in that shape anymore, in that way anymore. There is some change that takes place. That means anything that is born or anything that is destroyed, anything that dies, certainly undergoes some kind of changes, and at the same time it is limited by time. Before birth, at time T1, the Vastu was not there, and after death or after the destruction, time T2, it is not going to be there. So, two things, limited by time. So when it is born or death, anything subject to birth and death is limited by time, and it is always a vikari, subject to modification, subject to changes. Here, the self that is revealed by Shruti, the self that is taught by Shruti, Shruti says, I am always there in the three periods of time, means not subject to birth, not subject to death, and there are no vikaras, there are no modifications, any kind of vikara in the self. The self is, the self is avikari, and na jayate, na mriyate. I am not subject to birth, not subject to death. It is exactly like, suppose you have a bangle, and a lady goes to a goldsmith and says, from this particular thick bangle, you please make a chain and a ring. Two things. From one there is the two. And then it was so thick and heavy, the goldsmith said, not only two, we can make 6 ornaments out of it. You can have 2 small earrings also, and you can have something for foot also, etc. So 5 things are born out of one gold. So what is born is only form. Before it was born, gold was there. When it is born, gold is there. When it will be dissolved, suppose in future, gold will be there. So from one non-dual gold, many ornaments can come out, can be born, and they can be reduced to only one non-dual gold. But ultimately, gold was, is, and will be. So whatever is born in this creation, only name and form. The body is born, what we call as a birth. Birth is only of the gross body, and that body is a form. It has a potential to have smaller, to begins with a small form, and potential to grow in a big form. And there is a potential also when it is small, not to grow further. There is a boundaries for the growth in terms of height and etc., length of the limbs, etc. That is, only the form is born. I, the self, the one who claims this body as mine, the one who resides in this body, is not subject to birth, not subject to death. Only body is born. Body is subject to death, not I. So therefore, the self is Kalatraya. And in fact, if you analyze, that is a time T1, in fact, the time disappears. The so-called present, it can be further fragmented, further divided into small unit, and it disappears. There is nothing but existence, pure existence, which is there when you talk of the Kala as such. It is limited. It is, I see the Kala is an object of my knowledge, and that I is so-called beyond time. When I say beyond time, means not subject to birth, not subject to any modification, and certainly not subject to destruction or death. Next one comes Chit Kim. What is Chit? And the answer is Gnana Swarupaha. It is of the nature of knowledge. Gnana Swarupa. What is Gnana Swarupaha? It is of the nature of knowledge, means pure knowledge. We can call it a consciousness. Look at this. If someone asks me, do you exist or not? I would certainly say, I exist. Even to reply that I don't exist, I should be existing to refute my existence. That I am is a self-evident fact. You don't need anyone else to reveal to you that you are or you are not. I know that I am. The existence is self-revealing. To know the existence of an object of the world outside, I need to use the means of knowledge for me to know the existence and its nature. Like even eyes can show you that the flower exists, but whether this is a fragrant rose or not, fragrant lily or not, I need to use my senses called Granendriya, nose, to know that it is fragrant rose. To know the existence and know the Swarupa of a Vastu, you need agency of sense organs. Now, to know the existence of myself, I don't need anything. With the closed eyes also I know I am there. With closed ears also. If somebody is deaf by birth, he or she knows that I exist. Even when the mind is agitated or quiet, I know that I exist. So self-existence is a self-revealing fact. I know my buddhi, I know my knowledge, and I know my ignorance also. What all I do not know, I know. What all I know, that also I know. My knowledge, my ignorance, my emotions, my instincts, my reactions, my digestions, my circulations, everything is known to someone who is self. The knower, the I, whom we call I, who knows it? I. I am the only authority who would know what it is. Sometimes I have come across some of the cases where the patient has some pain in the stomach and they undergo all kinds of tests and they discover, they say all the tests are negative. Then the doctor will say typically, I think you should not have any kind of pain. There is no problem with your stomach or with your entire system, whatever test they have done. But still, since you have pain, I am giving you this medicine. And just stop this when the pain is not there or pain decreases. And if it increases and becomes acute, please contact me. So whether I have a pain in stomach or not, who knows? I know. So whole body is known to me. That I is existing and self-revealing. Self-existent, self-revealing fact is Atma, the self. It is called Chit Swarupaha, knowledge Swarupaha. So, I keep on comprehending the things in all the three states of my existence, waker, dreamer and deep sleeper. In all the three states, the inalienable in all these comprehensions is I who is there. What is comprehended keeps on changing. What is perceived keeps on changing. What is experienced keeps on changing. And you can say they are mutually in opposition. When one is, other two cannot be. When the other one is, the other two cannot be. Like when I am waking world, The dream objects cannot be there, dream and dreamer. And in sleep state, nothing is there. Waking objects and dreams objects have no entry into that. Dreamer has no entry, waker has no entry. Only thing is that I alone am the one who is in all the three. I am aware of all the three. I know all of them. And that I is consciousness, pure knowledge. The truth of the knower has to be the knowledge per se. There are different cognitions. Like in a Shastric jargon, Ghatagnanam, Patagnanam, Matagnanam, etc. Cognition of pot, cognition of cloth, cognition of ashram, cognition of camera, cognition of book, etc. But all of them, cognition of, they are there because of the consciousness, the self, the Gnana Swarupa, the nature of the knowledge, I, is there. To him, because of him, all these cognitions are possible. And therefore, Atma Gnana Swarupa. Just give me 1 minute, please. 1 second. Gnana Swarupaha means not the knowledge. We generally use the word in Vyavhara. When we say knowledge, we always mean knowledge of something. Here, knowledge is the knowledge that because of which all knowledge is possible. Exactly like in Gujarati. This, when there is a tube light is on, and that is called light. The light is the light. Illumination is called light. But then the power is also called light. Suppose there is some maintenance work and then the power is not there. They used to, or for whatever fault, they say light is gone. And when the power is reinstated, they say light has come or it is started. And when you switch on the tube light, then they say light is on. Power, light is illumination as well as the power. So also knowledge is sometimes knowledge of something, and that knowledge, you can say knowledge principle, because of which all knowledge of something is possible, and that is called Chit Swarupa, the consciousness, that I am, because of which I am conscious of something. I assume a status of being conscious is only because of that consciousness. I am conscious of waking, I am conscious of dream, I am conscious of sleep state. It is self-revealing to me. I don't need any external agency to reveal to me these states. In dream there is illumination. In dream there is light. All that is because of me, the self-conscious me. This is Atma Chit Swarupa. And in sleep also, I am conscious or aware that I had a good sleep. That conscious principle, because of which I am conscious of all the three, is called Chitta. That is called Gnana Swarupa. Okay? So, that Gnapti or the knowledge, the conscious of something, no, the conscious, pure consciousness, that's because of which I am conscious or I know something else, is called Gnana Swarupa. Okay? And it doesn't require any means of knowledge to know that I am. It is self-revealing, self-existent I. That I am is self-revealing. So that I am is Satchit. That exists and it is consciousness. Chit Prakasha Swarupa. Prakasha is in the sense of knowledge. Gnana Swarupaha is called consciousness. And what is Anandaha? Then he says, Anandakaha. So he says, Sukhaswarupaha. Ananda is Sukhaswarupa. Sukhaswarupa means fullness. Sukhaswarupa means limitlessness. Sukhaswarupa means wholeness, not bliss. Because there is no word, bliss is undefined word, and bliss gives a sense of experience, experiential reality, and it talks about degrees of bliss, where it is no degrees because it is full, it is complete. So Ananda Swarupa, how I am Ananda Swarupa, how I am whole, because any moment of happiness that I pick up in the life, there is the division of subject and object is removed. The wanting person, the wanting I, and the wanted I, the wanted vastu. When the wanted I gets the wanted vastu, there is a fusion which removes the sense of deficiency. That fusion removes sense of incompleteness. That fusion removes sense of lack which was experienced so far. It removes a sense of alienation that gets removed. For a child, for example, baby wants a toy. So when the toy is not achieved, toy is somewhere else in the shop, there is a sense of division, sense of deficiency. I lack something, I am incomplete, and I am unhappy. There is a gap between the two, and there is a sense of alienation from that. When it is achieved, the sense of insufficiency, the sense of lack is removed. There is a fusion as though between the wanting I and the wanted vastu, and that particular fusion, though momentarily in ignorance, is an experience of wholeness, is an experience of fullness, is an experience of completeness, is an experience of sense of no lack. At that, however momentary the experience is felt, is there is no complaint. Everything is okay. Let's think of your moment of happiness. Those moments of happiness, you always felt everything is fine, everything is okay. There may be nth number of complaints in the mind regarding the people and the situation around, and regarding myself also, with reference to my body, my persona, etc. All of them as though stand suspended momentarily, and in those moments of happiness, there is only homogeneous, there is wholeness, oneness that is felt, and that is happiness. So happiness is wholeness. In Shastric jargon, Sanskrit, we can say Anantam, Satyam, Gnanam, Anantam Brahma. There is a said limitlessness. So that limitlessness is felt in the moment of happiness. Okay? That is Ananda. That is me. And when I have those moments, I am at home with myself. There is a sense of at-homeness that reveals that I am Ananda, that reveals Aham Purna, that reveals there is no lack within me, I am limitless. Partially, to some extent, this Ananda is experienced in sleep as well. The sleep experience reveals one more thing: there is no bhogya, There is no sense object which is to be enjoyed, and much less the means of sense or the means of enjoyments are there. I alone am there. That I which is covered by ignorance, I don't know who am I and where am I. That I, self-revealing I, is there, and there, without any beloved person or object of like or situation, you just have happiness that reveals that to be happy, I don't need any object outside. I don't need any situation outside. I feel happy. That means that the same person who was wanting before he went to sleep, who felt deficiency, who felt incompleteness, who was unhappy with himself, the same person becomes happy. That clearly reveals to discover that happiness, you just need yourself. And unfortunately, as I said, to create unhappiness, you need only yourself. Human mind is capable of creating the greatest of misery or miserable situation, and its same mind is capable of making him or her discover that you are happiness. That you just be with yourself. Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. Mind alone is the cause for bondage and liberation or freedom. That is because of ignorance. Now so Atma Ananda Swarupa. And Shankaracharya ji says, Evam Sachidananda Swarupam Swatmanam Vijaniyat. May you know, or one should know, Evam, thus in this manner, Sachidananda Swarupam Atmanam. Thus, one should know, through these teachings, one should know that Atma is Sachit Ananda Swarupaha, of the nature of pure existence, pure consciousness, and wholeness or happiness, you can call it yourself to be. Now, having said this, may you know, because you can add here, this is the only yoni, this is the only body, human body, where this possibility is there. And in fact, only and only human body is capable of knowledge. Only in the human birth I can be aware of my ignorance, and I can put some efforts to remove the ignorance, and through consistent endeavors I can remove it and gain the knowledge that is possible only with the human birth. Therefore Acharya says, may one know this. One should know this, one must work for it. Now, the next section begins. It is quite different section. It is talking about the Ishvara, the cause of the entire creation. That is revealed now in the next sections to come. Okay? With this, I think I would like to take up this the whole class. I have hardly 10-12 minutes left with me. So with these words, I will conclude this class. Let it be little less this time. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Namaste.